The internet is a labyrinth of information, a place where one can easily get lost in its endless corridors of content. But what if, in those late-night browsing sessions, you stumbled upon something that made your blood run cold? What if the stories and images you found weren't just figments of someone's imagination, but real, terrifying truths hidden in plain sight? In this series, we uncover the most disturbing things I've found on the internet. Stories that will leave you questioning the very nature of reality. Join me, if you dare, as we journey into the darkest corners of the web. It was late one night when I found myself deep in the Unsolved Mysteries subreddit. As someone who has always been fascinated by the unexplained, I often find myself drawn to stories of disappearances, hauntings, and strange occurrences. But one story in particular caught my eye: the disappearance of Francisca Cadenas. It was a name I had never heard before, but as I read through the details, I felt a chill creep up my spine. Francisca Cadenas was a 59-year-old woman living in the small, close-knit town of Hornachos in Spain. Her life was as ordinary as could be, marked by the quiet rhythms of rural life. But on the night of May 9th, 2017, everything changed. Francisca was last seen by her friends as she left a gathering to head home, just 50 meters away. It was a distance so short that it should have taken her no more than a minute to reach her front door. But she never arrived. The town of Hornachos is a place where everyone knows everyone else. It's the kind of place where neighbors greet each other by name, where children play freely in the streets, and where nothing out of the ordinary ever happens. That's what makes Francisca's disappearance all the more chilling. How could someone simply vanish in such a small, tight-knit community? The search for Francisca began almost immediately. Within minutes of her friends realizing she hadn't made it home, they were out in the streets, calling her name and searching every corner of the town. The local police quickly joined in, launching a full-scale search that included helicopters, search dogs, and hundreds of volunteers. They scoured the countryside, checking every well, every mountain path, and every hidden corner of the town. But despite their exhaustive efforts, there was no trace of Francisca. It was as if she had been swallowed by the night. What makes this case even more disturbing is the complete lack of clues. There were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses who saw anything suspicious, and no evidence to suggest what might have happened to her. The only person who saw her after she left her friends was a neighbor who briefly glimpsed her as she walked down a small alleyway. But after that, she was never seen again. The authorities have speculated that foul play was involved, perhaps an opportunistic killer who saw his chance and took it. But without any concrete evidence, the case remains a mystery. Francisca's family and friends are left with nothing but questions and the haunting absence of a loved one. Her disappearance is a stark reminder of how quickly and quietly someone can be taken from us, leaving behind only a void that can never be filled. As I read through the details of this case, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled in the pit of my stomach. It's one thing to read about disappearances in far-off places, but it's another entirely to realize that they can happen anywhere, even in the most ordinary of towns. The internet is filled with stories like this, unsolved, unsettling, and deeply disturbing. Each one is a dark stain on the fabric of reality, a reminder that the world is not as safe as we would like to believe. If this story intrigued you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who are fascinated by unsolved mysteries. Together, we can keep the memory of those who have vanished alive and perhaps even bring some closure to their loved ones. Part 2. The Valor for Tamaulipas Facebook page. The internet has the power to connect us, to inform us, and to bring about change. But it also has the power to destroy. One of the most chilling examples of this duality is the story of the Valor for Tamaulipas Facebook page. It's a story that highlights the dangers of speaking truth to power especially when that power is in the hands of ruthless and violent criminals. In the early 2010s, the Mexican state of Tamaulipas was in the grip of a brutal cartel war. Violence and corruption were rampant, and the local population lived in constant fear. In this climate of terror, an anonymous individual took it upon himself to create a Facebook page dedicated to informing the public about the dangers they faced. The page, called Valor for Tamaulipas, quickly gained a large following as it provided real-time updates on cartel activities, warned locals about dangerous areas, and exposed corrupt officials who were in league with the cartels. The admin of the page was a faceless hero, a voice of reason in a world gone mad. But with his growing influence came growing danger. The cartels, notorious for their brutality, did not take kindly to having their operations exposed. The admin began receiving death threats, chilling messages warning him to stop his work or face the consequences. The threats escalated when the cartels offered a reward for anyone who could reveal the admin's identity. It was a stark reminder that in the world of organized crime, silence is golden and deadly. Despite the constant danger, the admin continued his work. He knew that the information he was providing could save lives, that his efforts were making a difference. But the cost of his bravery was high. In 2014, one of the page's contributors, a woman who had been helping to gather and post information, was captured by the cartels. Her final moments were broadcast on her own social media accounts, a horrific warning to others who might think of continuing her work. The admin, shaken and fearing for his life, eventually decided to step back. He handed over control of the page to someone else and retreated into the shadows. The Valor for Tamaulipas page still exists, but it's a shadow of its former self. The fire that once burned bright has been dimmed, snuffed out by the ruthless hand of the cartels. But the legacy of the page remains, a chilling reminder of the dangers that come with speaking out, of the risks that ordinary people take when they decide to stand up against evil. It's easy to forget as we scroll through our feeds that behind every post, every update, there are real people with real lives at stake. The internet is a battleground, and not everyone who fights on it comes out unscathed. What would you do in the face of such overwhelming threats? Would you continue to speak out, or would you step back to protect yourself and your loved ones? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss the true cost of bravery in the digital age. The internet has made it easier than ever to share information, to spread awareness about important causes, and to connect with people all over the world. But with that ease comes a dark side, scams, lies, and deceit, designed to prey on our empathy and goodwill. One of the most disturbing trends I've come across is the rise of fake missing person posts, like the one involving a supposed young girl named Gracie Mae Thompson. The post is heartbreaking, a sweet, innocent-looking girl with wide eyes and a shy smile. The caption tells a harrowing story of how she was last seen being taken by a stranger, and her distraught family is pleading for help in finding her. The post quickly goes viral, shared by thousands of concerned internet users who want to do their part to help. But here's the catch: Gracie doesn't exist. The photo is real, but the story is a fabrication, part of an elaborate scam designed to spread malware and steal personal information. The scammers behind these posts know exactly how to pull at our heartstrings. They use images of real children, often taken from other legitimate missing person cases, and concoct a story so compelling that people don't think twice before hitting the share button. It's only later, when their computer is infected or their personal information is compromised, that they realize they've been duped. What's truly unsettling about this scam is the violation it represents. Not only are the scammers exploiting our emotions, but they're also using the image of a real person, likely without her knowledge or consent. It's a violation of trust, privacy, and decency. It's a reminder that even the most innocent-seeming posts on the internet can have a dark side, and that we must always be vigilant about what we share and believe online. These fake missing person posts are just one example of how the internet can be used to deceive and manipulate. It's a place where nothing is as it seems, where you can't trust everything you see. In a world where information is power, the internet is both a blessing and a curse, a tool that can be used, for great good or great harm. What makes these scams particularly insidious is how they exploit our most basic human instincts, our desire to help, to protect, and to care for those in need. When we see a post about a missing child, our first reaction is one of compassion, of wanting to do something, anything, to help bring that child home. But the reality is far more sinister. The very act of sharing such a post, meant to spread awareness and aid in the search, can instead become a tool of deception, used by malicious actors to infiltrate our lives and compromise our security. The story of Gracie Mae Thompson is a powerful reminder that not everything we see online is what it seems. It forces us to question the nature of the information we consume, to be skeptical of the stories that tug at our heartstrings, and to recognize the potential for manipulation in even the most innocent-seeming posts. In a digital world where misinformation can spread like wildfire, it's more important than ever to verify the facts, to think critically about what we share, and to protect ourselves and others from those who seek to exploit our kindness. But the impact of these scams goes beyond just the individuals who fall victim to them. They erode the trust we have in one another, making us wary of real cries for help, hesitant to lend a hand when it might truly be needed. The more we are deceived, the harder it becomes to believe in the authenticity of any plea. And that is perhaps the most disturbing consequence of all. When the lines between truth and lies become so blurred, the very fabric of our online communities begins to unravel. The case of Gracie Mae Thompson may have been a lie, but the lessons it teaches us are very real. It's a cautionary tale for the modern age, a reminder that the internet, for all its wonders, is also a place where shadows lurk, where predators hide behind screens, and where the boundaries between reality and fiction are constantly being tested. As we navigate this digital landscape, we must remain vigilant, always questioning, always verifying, and always aware of the potential dangers that lie just beneath the surface. If this story gave you pause, make sure to subscribe to Nightmare Narratives and hit the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the dark side of the internet. Stay safe out there and remember, always think before you click.